What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and in this video we're going to be taking yet another look at the Elephant Gun as a part of my Does It Suck series. The Elephant Gun is a unique Jakobs sniper rifle from the 3rd campaign DLC, Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt. It's actually one of the Sir Hammerlock's signature weapons, and because of that it has a really cool skin. If you have it without an accessory, it'll actually have a Sir Hammerlock's prefix, which is kind of cool. Like a lot of other weapons, it did receive a significant buff as a part of the community patch, and we actually took a look at this weapon with the 4.0 version of the community patch, and that made this gun a lot better. It increased its critical hit modifier, and it increased its base damage significantly. It left the fire rate the same, and it did not allow it to spawn with a scope, so they kept the unique properties of the Elephant Gun still the same, or its unique drawbacks, but they did increase its, strongest asset there, which was its base damage. And so I think that's pretty cool, and I think it gave the weapon a pretty solid niche. I don't think it's, as good as a lot of other snipers, but the community patch definitely made it a lot better with the 4.0 version. It took its base damage up to 2.95 million or thereabouts instead of this 1.82 million. So significant increase in the base damage there, and then they also increased the critical hit damage. So you were getting a lot more effective damage with this weapon than you were without the community patch. Let's take a look at it without the community patch real quick, and then we'll talk about the changes that were made going to version 4.1 in the community patch, which will actually make this weapon a lot better. I haven't taken a look at it yet, but I'm very excited to see what it does because I've read what the patch does to it, and they said it removes its penalties, so that's kind of ambiguous to an extent. We'll have to look at how that actually affected the weapon, or we would have to look up what penalties it actually had. But then in addition to that, they have changed the Hyperion barrel, which does look kind of cool with this gold skin because it has this vented barrel cover here. They're changing this barrel to a Jakobs barrel, which looks like this. The very interesting thing about the Jakobs barrel is that it has a front sight. So with the Elephant Gun, which cannot spawn with a sight, which is very weird because it actually has a rail up here, it seems like it'd be very easy to mount some glass to this, or even this part here if you took this part off. Regardless, you can't put a scope on this weapon, and the fact that it had the Hyperion barrel and this weird rail thing gave it a really weird sight picture. You could obviously still hit critical hits with it, right? Because we were hitting critical hits on that guy just a minute ago, but it does throw off the sight picture just a little bit, right? If you look straight down the top of that platform there, it kind of puts the bullet decal right where you'd expect, but it's a little bit harder to sight than a lot of other weapons that actually have either a scope or at least a front sight like the Buffalo does, but obviously an optic would be preferred. That is one of the unique drawbacks of this weapon though, and that's one of the things you have to give up in order to get the high base damage. So that's quite interesting there. Let's see how the 4.1 version of the patch really affects the weapon. I guess to kind of illustrate how much the patch really helps the weapon indirectly, let's take a look at how it performs with critical ascension just for a moment without the community patch. So that guy died and I don't think I got a critical hit on him. I don't really know how that happened, but whatever. Basically what I'm going to try to show here is that this weapon maintains critical ascension very, very poorly. And in addition to that, the fire rate is so slow that even if you get a critical hit every time, you're still not going to build up like any meaningful amount of critical ascension at a speed that would actually help you kill enemies, because you get it so slowly that you're really not gaining much damage as you go through. So with that in mind, it's something that you have to watch out for a little bit. I'm getting shot through that chain link fence there, so I'm going to have to back up a little bit. So that's kind of where the weird sight picture on the Elephant Gun threw me off on that exploder just a little bit. When you have more time, or you actually have the crosshairs in Deception, you can aim a little bit better. But obviously in the heat of battle, sometimes it's a little bit weird to use that unconventional sight picture here. There aren't many guns in Borderlands 2 that are like that, and so you might not have experience with them. Obviously you can see there that after killing that many enemies, we still only have 7 stacks of critical ascension, which is pretty poor. So let's go ahead and take a look at that sight picture with and without Deception on real quick. So here you can't really tell where you're aiming. You throw Deception, you can see that it's actually a little bit above the top of the sight picture there. So a little bit strange, and you have to adjust for that just a little bit, right? So holding the mouse completely still there, you can see that the bullet decal is just a little bit above our sight picture, which is a little bit strange, and it throws you off just a little bit. So let's apply the community patch and see how the weapon has changed. I'm really excited to see the weapon with the Jakobs barrel because just aesthetically, I think it'll look really cool, but also from a styling point, I'm very, very excited to see what it looks like because I think the highest damage Jakobs sniper should have a Jakobs barrel. That just makes sense to me. The Hyperion barrel, I don't know. It looked kind of cool with the golden skin and everything, but I think this looks so much cooler. Got some weird bluing up here on the barrel, but I can live with that. That looks kind of cool, actually. It's a Sir Hammerlock used item. He, put it through its paces. So that's kind of neat. And now when we look down the weapon, it's actually got a sight picture, right? And I would imagine the top of that pin there lines up pretty well with our deception. Or our crosshair when we use deception, at least. So that's pretty cool. And it does, actually. So that's really nice, and it makes the weapon even a little bit easier to aim. And it also gives you some side-to-side reference points as well. So that's really nice, and I think that's going to be huge for the weapon, and stylistically, I just like it so much better. I actually like the way it looks better here, too. So that's pretty cool, and the iron sights with the critical hit damage bipod actually looks kind of tight as well. So I like it. That's pretty cool. The base damage now is even higher. It's actually cresting 3 million now, so that's pretty cool. It does look like the magazine got a little bit bigger as well. It's at 8 instead of 6 now. Let's take a look at that magazine real quick when we reload here. I can't tell exactly. He does it so quick because of our skills in fast hands that I can't really see how many there are there. I'll try to pause it, and take a look at that in a little bit. But I'm not exactly sure if the number of bullets in the cylinder there actually matches the mag size on the gun now. That would be pretty cool if that's the case with the Jakobs grip. Can we tell from here? I can't really. So that's 1, 2. I guess we could try to count them. I think there's probably 7, right? Because we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I would imagine 6 and 7 are obscured. So, I don't know. Maybe it's better, maybe it's not. It's still 1 off, I think. So, regardless, let's go ahead and get ready to see how it does against this guy now. So you can see that right away, it's shooting a lot quicker, or not, it's not shooting a lot quicker, but it's dealing damage a lot quicker at least. So that's pretty cool there. And obviously critical ascension ticks down a lot slower now, so we should be a lot better off as far as using this weapon. So that's pretty cool. We obviously one-shot enemies with a very low amount of critical ascension while we're in deception, assuming they are properly debuffed with slag and kunai. Go ahead and reload the weapon, hopefully, so that we can get the one-shot, one-kill bonus, but we missed our critical hit, so that's no good. I do think having a slightly increased magazine size is good for the weapon, especially since the reload speed is still very long. Alright. How did that guy not get slagged by that slag grenade? Doesn't matter, he still died. Alright, so we'll need to do something about this bullloader who is right on us and shooting us with his I-beam. Let's try to get this one-shot, one-kill and not miss the critical hit. That's a huge damage number there, so that's pretty awesome. Alright, so I'm going to use follow through to get away there. Wow, so even with only a dozen stacks of critical ascension, you one-shot, hip-shot the exploders running at you with a critical hit, so that's pretty cool. Maybe that's only with one shot, one kill, though. No, doesn't seem to be. I wasn't far enough away from that guy, though. I can tell you that much. I was hoping to get him between these rails here. I was thinking he was going to take another step. I did spec into velocity this time with the weapon. I know that sometimes I don't spec into velocity because I feel that it negatively affects the Pimpernel, but we're not using the Pimpernel here, so we won't, avoid specking into velocity. You can see that you still don't build up a ton of critical ascension with this weapon because you kill most enemies in a fewer amount of shots than you otherwise would, but it is much easier to carry even a modest amount of critical ascension from enemy to enemy, which is still going to give you a substantial damage boost, right? Because you're still boosting a very high base damage to start with. I'm going to pick that up because I didn't really buy ammo before we started this run. It shouldn't be a big deal, though, because we should be more accurate with this weapon now because its sight picture is a lot better. And beyond that, we also should be okay as far as ammo-wise because it has a huge base damage. Now we can't get all of our shots eaten up by this power loader here, and it looks like we were eventually able to get off of him, so that's good stuff. Go ahead and try to get the critical hits built up off of these exploders, just so that we can kill them a little bit quicker. Oops. Cool. I'll take the little bit of damage just to get that critical hit. The weapon still fires extremely slowly, so it is more cumbersome to use than a lot of the more forgiving snipers that do exist, but you feel a lot more rewarded when you use the weapon. And I can't express how much it actually having the Jakobs barrel makes it more attractive to me, right? Having the Jakobs barrel is so much cooler because it actually makes a lot more sense for the Jakobs barrel to be the one that's dealing the most damage out of all of the barrels on a Jakobs sniper. At least to me, you know, that's the thing that makes most sense. The Jakobs motto is, if it took more than one shot, you weren't using a Jakobs, right? And so, why wouldn't a Jakobs barrel be the highest one-shot damage? It seemed weird that it was Hyperion, whose gimmick is kind of accuracy and stuff. So, very weird. Cool. So when you actually hit your critical hits and don't miss like I'm doing, you kill enemies very quickly. Let's try to get a one-shot one kill on this guy. I'll try to apply some death mark to him. And there we go. That damage number was comical. I think it was 4+ billion. I'm not sure. We'll have to actually look at it when we have a little bit more time in the replay there. All right. If I shoot that, will he get slagged? Ooh, he did. Cool. I hope we get through this guy's arm here. Nice. I guess when he jumps down, they pause just momentarily from spinning. That's poor planning on the Hyperion engineer's part, because that gives you another opportunity to kill their power loaders. They should install a firmware update that allows their arms to keep spinning when they jump down a small amount. Ooh, we got another super badass here. That's fun. A little bit rare. You don't usually get a super badass in this room, but it can happen. And now he's gone again. Wonder when the next time we'll see him is. I couldn't see that guy through the purple smoke. Like a Jimi Hendrix song out here. Alright, let's get this guy dead as well. Perfect. I love hip-shotting these dudes. Ah, I missed that one, though. That's good stuff. Alright. Obviously, when you have killer going, it does improve the reload speed of this weapon. And I guess the legendary sniper comm actually boosts fast hands now as well, which is another subtle boost to the elephant gun as opposed to it being kill confirmed, which probably didn't help it out quite as much as fast hands would have. Oops, I did not mean to deception glitch these dudes, so give them a chance here to recover. The only enemies I don't really feel bad about wall deceptioning glitch are those skeleton mages from the Tiny Tina DLC. Those ones deserve to get wall glitched. That's evil design from Tiny Tina's imagination there. Alright, let's go ahead and kill this guy as well. That's good stuff. So the elephant gun is even better now, right? I feel like it's definitely what it was, you know, meant to be when it was originally designed and released as a part of the third campaign DLC. Now it is, you know, assuming you actually properly debuff your enemies instead of shooting at them undebuffed like this one, it is a one-shot, one-kill sniper and probably the truest one in the game. And so that is pretty cool. Obviously, it can get out-damaged by the Pimpernel and likely the Lyuta if you're at a, you know, good enough spot to get the triple pellet hit, but we'll have to test that, actually. I'm interested to see if it does actually outdo a Lyuta now. Regardless, its damage is phenomenal. The Jakobs barrel is a wonderful addition to this weapon. Like I said, it adds a front sight picture, which is so very, very welcome for me. And additionally, just stylistically, it makes so much more sense. I know that I've kind of said that a few times, but I can't get over the fact that they had the Hyperion barrel be the one that deals the most damage. That seems ridiculous. Jakobs' whole motto, you know, is damage per bullet, so that's a weird deal to me. Jeez, undeath marked and out of deception, it did 2/3 of that guy's health with only, like, I think probably 19 stacks of critical ascension at that time. That's, I mean, That's what it's supposed to do. That's what I thought the elephant gun would be when it first got released, and it certainly was not. So now it's so much better. I actually enjoy using the weapon now, and I'm actually considering picking one up now that it has the Jakobs barrel on my farming character. It's probably not a difficult weapon to farm. I know that with the community patch we can get it from whatever enemy is generated with the quest, and if that takes too long we could always quest reward farm it as well. So right away, all of Hurley's shield's down, and then his 2 arms are gone, and half his health is gone within 3 shots. So that's pretty cool. Try to hit these critical hits now in his crotch. I will say that the new sight picture probably helps hitting his relatively small crotch joints there. So that's a good thing as well. Excellent. So that'll be the end of Hurley there. We'll go ahead and see what he dropped. It looks like he did drop an auto idle, and I think that got buffed as part of the newest iteration of the community patch as well. So that gives quite a bit of health back on a kill now. That's pretty interesting. Let's go forward and finish off the last couple enemies here, and then I want to run to Sanctuary real quick to see if this is outdoing what the Lyuda can do at the pellet spread, because that would be pretty cool. I just sincerely doubt it. I think a lot of people underestimate exactly how powerful that legendary Vladoff is because of its triple pellet spread. It is absolutely absurd. Jeez, that's huge. Alright, so let's go forward here and check this out. So maybe it was only 400 million, not 4 billion, but, you know, single digit off. You don't have a ton of time to read it when you are reading the damage number as it flies out. Obviously, when you have the video replay, you have a huge advantage on that. So let's go to Sanctuary. I just want to see, you know, what its damage is on a single unboosted. Well, I guess at least without one shot, one kill. Just a normal shot with your sniper comm and a normal build, just to see what it does, and then compare that to what the legendary Vladoff does, because that weapon is just ridiculous. I mean, it's one of my... It probably is my favorite weapon in the game, to be honest with you. Even among all the patched weapons, that might still be my favorite weapon in the game. Let's go ahead and run down here and take a look at it. I think the Vladoff will still outdo it, but what do I know? We'll test it. That's why they put the testing dummy here for us. Alright, so one shot, one kill is dispensed. Let's just take a look here. Oh, I'm spec'd into velocity. Let's get out of velocity real quick, because that'll make it so that we can't back far enough away to actually get the pellet spread with the Vladoff. So right now we're going to go over here, hit respec, and just build it out without velocity. Obviously, velocity is beneficial to the elephant gun and helps out its damage a little bit, but for this test we can't use it because it's going to mess up our pellet spread. I do like getting follow through. I wish that follow through and Grim were switched, maybe. Nah, I like it where it is. Alright, just gonna go ahead and, ooh, let's definitely make sure we max out Killer, even though it won't help with this. I'm gonna put points into one shot, one kill, even if I'll have to avoid it anyway. I could just avoid putting these points into Critical Ascension for the moment so that we don't have to worry about avoiding that. That would probably be a smart idea, to be honest with you. Whatever, I am gonna at least put my points in at one with the gun, and then I'll leave it out of this one here. Perfect. Now we'll spec into Critical Ascension in just a moment. I'll drop the Legendary Sniper Comm, and then we'll pick it back up. Cool. Alright. Getting out of one shot, one kill there, and now we'll take a look at this damage number. So that is 22.4 million. 22.4 million. I hope I have a non-elemental Vladoff here to compare this to. I would imagine that I actually do. It's a Gromke too, so that's good stuff. Let's go ahead and put that right there. So looking at this pellet spread here. That might not be far enough. Oh, maybe it was. Where's the triple? That seems like it's a double to me. Okay, so it does actually outdo it. The best I can seem to get here is about 12. But obviously when you have that, and I'm getting kill confirmed right now too, so perhaps it's a little bit thrown off from where I shot the elephant gun at. So the elephant gun does actually outdo this now, at least when you're using non-elemental. What happens if we use fire and actually use a fire bone? That'll obviously give the Vladoff a better chance here at catching up to it. And I'm interested to see what it does there. Nope, not Razrez. I need Gromke. Assuming I have it. Where is the orange items here? Too many items in the inventory. There we go. All right. Just want to see what this can do real quick. Get rid of the one-shot, one-kill there. Wow, 16. So that's still outdoing it a little bit. So that's pretty crazy there. It actually outdoes the Vladoff, which is wild. Okay, so 19. The Vladoff can still get very, very close. Maybe that was because of Rising Shot, actually, though. Regardless, the Vladoff pairs well with Rising Shot, so you'll still get a lot of effective damage that way. But you can see this one does around 17 on a perfect shot, or at least 16 and a half, whereas the Elephant Gun is doing 19. Or if you let the kill confirm build up a little bit, yeah, almost 20. And then if you have Rising Shot, it'll be over 20. So it does look like the Elephant Gun actually wins out, even over the Fire Vladoff Lyuda with the Bone of the Ancient. So that's pretty crazy there. Obviously, once you start adding in Critical Ascension and everything, the Lyuda is really going to take off in damage. But it's still a good showing for the Elephant Gun, and I think it's in a much, much better place than it was before. So I'm quite excited about it. I'll probably farm that on my Farming Zero here in just a very little bit. You can see if you build up a little bit of Critical Ascension, though, then you're dealing a ton of damage, and you can obviously build that up super quick with the Lyuda. So that's why this weapon's so damn powerful. Still, though, just one more damage comparison before we end the video. I do want to check out where it's at in comparison to the Muck-a-Muck, just to kind of have the idea. So Critical Ascension will go away there. We don't have Critical Ascension or one-shot, one-kill. 18.6. And then let's get rid of it again if we can. See, I should have waited to spec into Critical Ascension. Get rid of one-shot, one-kill. 7.2, 7.3. So definitely where you want to be now on the Elephant Gun. Obviously, the Muck-a-Muck has a much crazier fire rate, so it still has a place. So I think that the Elephant Gun has like a very solid niche at this point. It is quite the weapon. So I'm pretty excited about it. I love the fact that it got a Jakobs barrel. Thank you to the guys on the community patch who changed that. That is a very awesome change for the weapon. And I really think it looks better, even though the Hyperion barrel has some cool aesthetic features as well. But just from a design standpoint and matching the brand distinctions, I think that the Jakobs barrel is so much better. So really awesome overall. As always, guys, I thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I also appreciate the change that this weapon got. I know that I called this weapon the most disappointing weapon in the game without the community patch. I definitely don't feel that's the case now. I feel that it's a cool, unique weapon. It definitely no longer sucks, and it's just so much more awesome than it was before. I hope that, you know, going forward, there will be a lot of awesome guns like this in Borderlands 3. I know Borderlands 3 was just announced that it was delayed even further by the publisher and stuff, so I know that's disappointing for all of us Borderlands fans. But stick with us, guys. There's still a lot of content to export in Borderlands 2, and we'll eventually move on to Borderlands 3. I'm sure of it. And I hope that there will be more guns kind of like the Elephant Gun, the patched version of it, and a lot less guns like the unpatched version of it, because the unpatched version of it was so very annoying. But this one's quite awesome. One more time, guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. If you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe, I'd appreciate that as well. Otherwise, I do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.